Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Session 38. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. We begin with the name of God, who is most gracious and merciful. And we begin with blessings on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the last and final prophet. Nahmaduhu nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Brothers and sisters, after a break of about 6 to 7 days, we start our sessions again and continue with the subject of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his sayings, that is his hadith, and his conduct. After a few sessions on this subject, on the Prophet, then we shall restart with our elaboratory explanation and elaboratory explanation of Qur'an, that from Surah Fatiha again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hearing this, the Negro said, O Prophet of Allah, will my eyes also see such great blessings? The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, definitely. Hearing this, the newly converted Negro started crying, and cried loudly and continuously to an extent that he expired there and then. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, coffined and buried him with his own hands. Now, the importance of prayers in the mosque for the men. The importance of prayers in the mosque for the men. The Quran states about prayers in the mosque that the mosques of Allah should be maintained by those who believe in Allah and the last day, establish salah prayers, and pay zakah obligatory charity, and fear none except Allah. It is they who are expected to follow the true guidance. One, Hazrat Abu Sayyid Khadri reported that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, when you see someone has developed a habit of offering prayers in the mosque, so you can vouch for him being a Muslim, because Allah has said, and this is verse Surah At-Tawbah, 9 Surah At-Tawbah, verse 18. إنما يعمر مسجد الله من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة ولم يخشى إلا الله فعسى فأولئك أن يكونوا من المهتدين. 18 translation. Only those people habitate the mosques of Allah who have come to believe in Allah and in the day hereafter, and establish 5 times prayers, and keep giving zakah, obligatory charity, and don't fear anyone except Allah. It is they who are expected to follow the true guidance. Hazrat Abu Hurairah Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu stated, is reported that the Prophet said, the person who goes to the mosque mornings and evenings, whatever number of times he goes to the mosque, every time Allah prepares a new house for him in Jannah. Tirmidhi. Hazrat Abu Hurairah reported that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, the day when there will be no shade for anyone anywhere except for the shade of Allah, that day Allah would take 7 people under his shade. Among those 7, the Prophet included the man who comes out of the mosque, but till the time he returns, his heart is stuck up in the mosque. He included the man, the Prophet said, included the man amongst those 7 who comes out of the mosque, but till the time he returns, his heart is stuck up in the mosque. For Hazrat Sulaiman Radhiyallahu Ta'ala reports that the Prophet said, he who performs ablution well in the house and goes to the mosque, he is the one who is coming to meet Allah, becomes a guest of Allah, and it is incumbent on the host to respect the guest. Hazrat Umar bin Mamun reported that a companion of the Prophet used to say that mosques on the earth are the houses of Allah. Who goes there to meet Allah, it is his right on Allah to respect him. 6. It is in ahadith that who habitate the mosques are the people of Allah. Who habitate the mosques are the people of Allah. 7. It is in ahadith that Allah, on seeing people in the mosque, removes azab, punishment, on the entire people. 8. It is in hadith that Allah the Almighty says that I swear by my honor and dignity, I do want to punish the people, that is the sinners, on the land, but on seeing the people who habitate my house and those who love each other for my sake, and the ones who seek forgiveness for their sins in the mornings, I remove my punishment. 9. It is reported in Ibn Asakir that the devil is like a wolf on people, as there is wolf for goats. If these are alone, detached, the wolf grips the lonely, unprotected ones. So you avoid disruption and disputes, etc., must remain close and together in the mosque. Tafsir Ibn Kasir. Hazrat Abu Sayyid Khadri is reported that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that in the night of Ramadan, month of fasting, when a pious man offers prayers in every sajda, prostration, 1,500 pious deeds are written for him. In every sajda prostration, 1,500 deeds, pious deeds are written for him. And in Jannah, a house of red uranium is built for him, which has 60,000 doors, and there is a palace of gold in front of every door. It has 60,000 doors, and there is a palace of gold in front of every door. That is 60,000 palaces are built for him. And in the entire month of Ramadan, when a person prostrates before Allah, he gets such a large tree that a horse rider can continue to ride under it for 500 years. Al-Maribul of Tasbih. For enhancement in income, recommendation of the Prophet. For enhancement in income, saying Assalamu alaikum on entering the house, whether anyone is present or not. Then reciting Durood Sharif once, then reciting Surah Ikhlas once. I repeat that for enhancement in income, the recommendation of the Prophet is saying Assalamu alaikum on entering the house, whether anyone is present or not, then reciting Durood Sharif once, then reciting Surah Ikhlas once. Once on the way, the devil met Hazrat Musa. Once on the way, the devil met Hazrat Musa, Prophet Moses. The Prophet inquired, "Who are you?" He replied, "I am the devil." Then Hazrat Moses said, "You entangle people using all methods. What has come into your experience?" He replied, "You have asked me a strange thing. You have asked me a strange thing. How is it possible that I disclose to you my life's entire experience?" Hazrat Musa said, "What's the harm? Tell me." The devil said, "There are three things which are the sum total of my experience. Three things which are the sum total of my experience. First, that if you intend to give sadaqah, give it at once, immediately, because it is my effort to make a person forget it. When I make him forget it, then he doesn't remember that he had intended to give sadaqah. Secondly, if you make a promise, a commitment with Allah, my effort is to make the person break the promise. For example, if a person promises that he will not commit such and such sin, my effort is to make him break the promise. Thirdly, do not sit with ghair mahram, a person of the opposite sex. Do not sit with ghair mahram, a person of the opposite sex, because I create an attraction in the woman's heart for the man and in the man's heart for the woman. I do not get this work done from my subordinate devils. He said, I do not get this work done from my subordinate devils, but I do this myself. Now, sleeping after Fajr prayers, morning prayers, without any solid reason is forbidden. Sleeping after Fajr morning prayers without any solid reason is forbidden. Having offered the morning prayers, then going to sleep before the sun rises is not right, advisable as per the Prophet, as per Sunnah. This is time for ibadat and remembrance of Allah, that is zikr ilahi. Everything is busy in praising and remembering Allah in its own language. Man should not neglect zikr ilahi, that is commemoration of Allah. Sleeping at this time reduces the man's income. Sleeping at this time reduces the man's income. The Prophet, peace be upon him, used to say, sleeping in the morning denies income. Hazrat Fatima is reported to have stated, once I was sleeping at this time. The Prophet, peace be upon him, passed by me. He shook my feet, saying, my dear daughter, get up. Be present for the Creator's nourishment. Don't be among the unaware. He said, Allah distributes rizq, income, etc. between early morning and the sunrise. Hazrat Fatima states that the Prophet forbade sleeping after early morning till the sunrise. So after offering the morning prayers, one should remain busy in reciting Qur'an and the other wazaifs, that is remembrance of Allah, remembrance of God the Almighty. May Allah enable us to perform pious deeds. Ameen. Now, etiquettes of women. Women, when walking outside, should walk away from men. 2. Shouldn't walk in the middle of the ways, but on the sides. 3. Not to wear ornaments that create noise. 4. A woman wearing ornaments to show pride would be punished. 5. It's better to wear ornaments of silver. 6. A woman should apply mehndi on her hands. 7. Her perfume must not be very strong. 8. Should not wear clothes from which her body is visible. 9. If dupatta is very thin, should wear a thick shirt underneath. 10. The women who dresses up like men have been cursed by the Prophet. The women who dress up like men have been cursed by the Prophet, peace be upon him. 11. No man, no ghair mahram should remain with the woman in seclusion. No ghair mahram, no man should remain with a woman in seclusion. 12. The Prophet, peace be upon him, is reported to have said that no woman should go on a journey alone without a mahram. 13. In the days of menstruation, a woman should not go into mosque or touch the Holy Qur'an. If she touches anything during these days, it doesn't become napak, and she can cook food, etc., and do household errands. 14. During these days, a couple can be extremely close without cohabitation. 15. Hazrat Aisha Raziyullah Ta'ala anha, wife of the Prophet, stated, I used to comb the Prophet's hair in this state. Once he asked me to pick up something. I said, I'm not clean. He said, this kind of napaki is not in your hands. The house must be kept clean in all conditions. Tirmidhi. And lastly, the Prophet, peace be upon him, is reported to have stated, he who has 3 qualities has earned the sweet taste of Islam. He who has these 3 qualities has earned the sweet taste of Islam. First, that he loves God and his Prophet more than everything else, more than everything else, that is including his life. Second, and that if he loves anyone, it is only for the sake of God. If he loves anyone, it is only for the sake of God. And third, that he dislikes returning to kufr, disbelief, as much as he dislikes, hates being thrown in hell. He dislikes disbelief, the kufr, as much as he dislikes, hates being thrown in hellfire. Jazakallah. That's all for today.